I can see the fire that we made just to save us. When we try to make up for never letting go. Said the things we promised not to say, then we break up just to start all over, even though we know.
Alright, we're back for another video. Super excited for this one. We're switching over from body, mind, inner transformation. We're going towards fitness now. So this is pretty much a list of everything I compiled. I just wrote this real quick. Everything I do, guys, on my videos is all unscripted. Like, this just comes right out of the top of my head. Occasionally I'll write down like 4 things or something on a note card, just like points to remember. But other than that, I go with the flow because I want it to be as authentic. The name of the channel is Authentically Yourself, so I try and come off as genuine as possible, so it's not like you guys think I'm bullshitting or anything. Like, I'm 100% truthful to myself. I live out of integrity and love, and that is it. So when I wrote these down like 10 minutes ago, I was just like thinking, I'm like, okay, what's a lot of stuff that we need to know. Wrote everything down. This is episode 1 because obviously I can touch on all this stuff, 50 more times and go really in depth with it. But this is going to be episode 1. I'm just going to do a brief rundown of the main everything of the fitness Bible. So this will be pretty much just a run and gun. I'm just going to look at it. And if I'm not making direct eye contact, typically I'm really good at making direct eye contact and just showing that I'm engaged. If I'm looking away a lot, it's because I'm just thinking of all the experiences, everything I've ever learned, because I said, like, I'm running and gunning this. So I just wrote this stuff down and I haven't even thought about it at all. Nothing. Just wrote it down 10 minutes ago. So when I look at one, I might be like, think about it for a second. So I just want you to know, it's not like I'm trying to like make shit up or anything like that. So let us start with the blue side. Best training programs. Best training programs. So I think this really comes down to an individual basis. It really depends on where you are in your fitness journey. If you're just starting out, I'm not going to be like, do dog crap training. Dog crap training is the most intense training you can do. A lot of bodybuilders, old school bodybuilders in the 70s, 80s used it. I used it when I was getting ready to compete for my bodybuilding show. It is definitely the most, if not one of the most difficult training programs you can do because you train to failure pretty much every single set, and every week you add more weight. So it is very, very intense. I had a lot of injuries with it though. So getting off topic. So best training programs, again, like I said, it depends where you're at. If you're just starting out, it's just good to get the form down, just go through the motions until you become custom with doing good form. Once you have good form, then you can start thinking of what your goal is. What's your ideal body type? What are you trying to go for? Are you trying to be super strong? Do you want to be like athletic? Do you want to be aesthetic? Do you want to be like a fitness model? It really depends. So once you have the goal, then you can start looking into the different training programs. You can be like, okay, I'm going to do 3 days on, 4 days off, or you're going to change the split around heavy, light, heavy week, light week, heavy day, light day after each other. Maybe like a 2-day leg day, like depending on where you need growth. Like there's so many different things. So when I say best training programs, it really comes down to who you are individually as the person, because someone that's 60 years old, I'm not going to say, yeah, do dog crap training or do this. I'm going to be like, well, you definitely need a lot of recovery and you don't want to push yourself in the gym and you've had how many injuries over your life, blah, 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 blah. There's so many different variables that go into it. That's why I said this is episode 1. I could talk about just best training programs for the next 3 hours straight. So that's what I'm going to give you guys for that. All right. Number 2. Best diet and diet practices. Again, it's the same thing. Where are you in your fitness journey? Are you just starting out? Do you know about carbs, proteins, and fats? Have you tried intermittent fasting? Have you tried keto? Do you know what works best for your body type? So when I always say best, it's like best for who? Every single person on this planet is different. So what's best for me is not going to be necessarily best for you, right? So it's tricky to kind of say like what I think the best is because everyone's different. So I just say you have to learn for yourself. You have to try different things out. I've tried every single diet there is, and what works best for me is eating a whole food, all natural diet, and I don't count calories or anything. I counted calories for 3 years, and it adds so much more stress to your life. For me, mentally, it's not good. Some people love it. Some people can really stay in. Like if you're trying to be 8-pack shredded year round, like maybe you have to count the calories to do that, or maybe you don't. If you have insane genetics, like less than 1%, and you can just eat Burger King and have that, some people have that. So again, best diet, it really depends. Diet practices, I would say just the normal, like get protein with every meal, 20 to 30 grams. Again, depending, like if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, probably more, 30, 40, 50 grams. If you're not, if you're just trying to maintain, 20-ish grams. If you're a female, 15, 20. Eat 5 to 6 meals a day. Try and keep the metabolism up. Try and get whole foods. Try and stay away from artificial sweeteners, stuff like that. Yeah, simple. Cardio. Cardio, oh man, I've done my fair share of cardio in my day. I've done the pre-workout cardio, post-workout cardio, and then the fasted cardio, and then essentially cardio all day long, just through burning meat. So essentially, like just walking throughout the day randomly all over the place. So that's your cardio. For me, what I think works perfect for me is where I have cardio days. Because at the age I'm at and how I train now, I work out 3 to 4 days a week. So on my off days is when I'll do cardio. I don't do cardio during my work days. Like I save cardio for my separate days. I don't do pre-morning cardio anymore. Like I think the only reason like that became a big thing is like because it burns a little bit more fat, maybe. Still not 100% proven. There's tons of gray areas. But even so, like if you're going to be more miserable to burn a little bit more fat, it's not worth it. Again, depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to be a fitness model, or are you trying to be healthy? Do you want to just look good? Then no, you don't have to do morning cardio. But maybe you like morning cardio. So again, that's where every single person is independent of their own choices. It really depends. I can't say what works for you works best for someone else. It really depends on what you want, what your goals are, what your ambitions are, what you're trying to go for. Like I said, for me, I just do cardio on days off. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't do cardio for a month, 2 months. I just recently didn't do cardio for, I think, about 2 months, and I just started doing it again a week ago because I have so much energy. So I have to do cardio or I'll go insane. It's not even for fat burning purposes. It's just, I'm like, okay, I need to do cardio because I need to like do something. I'd make 10 YouTube videos a day if I didn't do cardio. So that's my reason. Again, like I said, everyone's different, so you got to find what works for you. Best fat loss advice. Calories in, calories out, right? If you want to lose weight, eat less calories than you're burning. It's as simple as that. I used MyFitnessPal for a long time to figure out my calories. Like I said, I don't count calories anymore, anything like that. But it could be good to use MyFitnessPal in the beginning just to see if you're unfamiliar with how many calories are in food, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat are in certain foods, because it'll really open your eyes. And when you see certain things, you're like, oh my God, there's 13 grams of fat in 1 tablespoon of ranch dressing. You'll be like, oh, okay. Like there's a lot of things that you'll realize, so that can be a good starting point. I would also say that it depends what you're doing. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to lose 20 pounds in a month? Are you trying to lose 20 pounds in a year? Totally different, right? Slow and steady for the person that's doing a year, I'd be like, okay, yeah, just eat what you're normally doing. Do that for 2 weeks, and then let's pull out like 100 calories, 200 calories than what you're used to normally eating. Year later, you're going to drop that 20 pounds, right? If you're trying to drop 20 pounds in a week and a half, or a week and a half, month and a half, and you want to step on stage, then it's going to be, much more drastic. Okay, we're going to do cardio 4 days this week, 5 days next week, 6 days the week after, from an hour and a half to et cetera, et cetera. We're going to pull out these calories. All right, and we're going to start pulling out the carbs here. Again, so like I said, it just depends how much you have to push, like how much you want to push, depending on what the desired outcome or result is that you want. So that's where I'd say with that. Quickest transformation. Quickest transformation, I would say transformation. I should have worded it differently because that could be kind of thought about in a bunch of different ways, because this just goes back to everyone's different again. It could be the answer for every single thing. Everyone is different. Okay, that's the fitness Bible. Best transformation for me, I'd say like right now, my best transformation is when I stopped focusing on like everything. I just kind of let the universe flow and like go with it. I stopped trying to fight everything, just let go of stress. I don't think about, like, I just think about every single meal having protein in it. I'm not like, oh, does that have 20, 30, 40 gram? Like, I don't know. I don't know how much protein I eat. Some days maybe 100, some days 200, some days 250. I don't know. But it's a lot less stress when I think about it that way. And I just eat whole foods. I just try and, I try and keep my fats low. I keep my carbs moderate, sometimes high. And I keep my protein moderate. I don't think about it. I just know, like, because I've done this for so long, when I look at foods, I just know what they are. That's why I said starting with MyFitnessPal and understanding what macros are in different foods is going to help you out in the long run. Because again, fitness is a journey. It's not a destination. Fitness is a journey, a lifestyle. You're doing it forever, right? So it's something you have to learn. You gotta try a bunch of stuff out. Like I said, there's no best every single thing. Everyone wants that. Everyone wants, like I said, the limitless pill, like Bradley Cooper. I want the best. I want the pill that's going to burn the most fat. I want to gain the most muscle in 10 days. Pill. You know, everyone wants the best, but there's no best, because it's a journey. You have to try everything out. What I could say works for this person doesn't work for that person. But like I said, FitnessPal in the beginning to learn everything, and then, you know, in 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, whatever, if you go really deep into it, you're not going to have to use it anymore. You're just going to know when you go out to eat, when you look at things, you're like, yep, I should go half on this, or I can do more on this. I know that that's going to be heavy, etc., etc. And then you can build a foundation off of that, and you're good for the rest of your life. You know, because if you use MyFitnessPal, are you going to use that forever? Fuck no. That's not a way to live. You don't want to live like that. I lived like that for 3 years. Think of every single meal, pulling out my phone and being like, I had 1.5 servings of ketchup on my burger, but I cut the piece of cheese in half, so I got to change the 1 slice to a half a slice. And I weighed my chicken when it was wet and not dry, so I got to rethink about the calibration. Like, oh my God, hell no, that is not a way to live. That is not living. So that would be my advice for quickest transformation. Just start on the basis and start trying a bunch of different stuff and see what sticks. Most sustainable long-term. Most sustainable long-term is something you enjoy. That's it. Most sustainable long-term is just going to be something that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy doing something, then it's not sustainable long-term. And if you're going to, I guess, manipulate your mind into thinking that, then you're not going to be happy, because you're going to be miserable all the time. So like I think about when I did the bodybuilding show and I got down to like being really lean, I was like, I want to look like this forever. But what did it take to look like that? 8 weeks of hell and starvation and not fun, and eating the same thing with no condiments, and just, do I want to do that forever? No, it's not worth it. So most sustainable long-term is what's going to make you happy. Like I said earlier with the cardio. All right, does doing morning cardio make you happy long-term? Then don't do it. Does cardio for me on my off days, 1 day a week or 2 days the next week or 1 day a month or whatever, whenever I just feel, does that make me happy? Yes, because that is fucking freedom. I do not let fitness run my life. I am in control of my life, and I use fitness. I don't let fitness use me. That's how I like to think about it. Fats, carbs, protein. Fats, carbs, protein. So, like I said earlier, there's so many different ways to go about this. What works for me is not going to work for other people. Mine, typically, I used to do 40, 40, 20. Protein, carbs, 40%, 40%. Fats, 20%. For me, when I have higher fats, I'm more bloated. My stomach doesn't digest as well. And like I just feel full all day. And I can tell in the mirror I don't look as good. When I have carbs, my body just runs way better. I can see in the mirror. I can see my arms, everything get pumped up from carbs, and I have a better workout. Fats doesn't do the same. Some people love keto diet, you know, going super low carb. Not for me. Not for me at all. Again, you got to try it out for yourself. You got to figure it out. Protein is pretty much the only one that has always stayed the same for me. I always, like I said, I try and eat, you know, protein with all five meals, 6 meals a day, and eat 20 to 30 grams, 40 grams, 50 grams, whatever. And it's not a super, I don't think it's like, you have to eat 32 grams of protein every meal for the next year if you want to look good. That's stupid, you know? And if you think that, that's going to be so much more stress. Like, oh, I got to do this right perfectly all the time. Again, we're talking about freedom. Don't let it run your life. If you're letting it run your life for an outcome, which I talk about in my other video, I'll link up here, get rid of outcomes and expectations. If you're doing this for an outcome, for a desired effect, you will not be happy. You have to do it because it's who you are and what you believe in. I am this. I am fitness. I have been this for 15 years. I love doing it, or 20 years. Like, I love it. I am being it. With doing videos, I love this. I am being it. I'm not trying to get a desired outcome. I'm not trying to get something. It's who I am. So when you're going on your fitness journey long term, it's who you are. You're not trying to get anything out of it. So with the fats, carbs, and proteins, try different things out. Try different numbers out. Well, if you're starting out with MyFitnessPal, there's a little dial you can change it to. Like I said, mine was 40-40-20 for protein, carbs, fat. You can change it all around. You can do whatever, 35, what's that, 70, 30, whatever. See what works best for you and try it for a few weeks. Look in the mirror every day, look at your weight, see, also evaluate how you feel. You know, feeling is a big thing, not how you look, but how you feel. What do you feel like? Do you feel like shit? Well, then don't fucking do it. You know, like, if you're going to make yourself miserable, not worth it. Like I said, what I did for my bodybuilding show, how did I feel? Like fucking shit. Did I sleep? No. Did I fucking feel good at all? No, it was awful. So do it based on how you feel. If you start having moderate carbs, heavy carbs, and you're seeing results and you're looking good in the gym and you have energy throughout the day and you feel great and you have energy and you charisma and spunk and everything, blah, 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 you're good to go, then maybe that's the one for you. Injuries. So there's always going to be injuries. There's always going to be setbacks. I have hurt my back deadlifting probably like 10 times. I've hurt this shoulder a few times. I've hurt this finger. It's actually hurt right now from deadlifting and work. So ligament pulls, torn my hamstring. There's always going to be injuries, and I think the important part goes to the training program and what you're trying to achieve, because when you're going hard as fuck and lifting heavy ass weight, you're more prone to injuries. And I always like to look at it like, is it worth it? Like, so say you're going heavy and you're gaining more muscle, you're working out to failure, but you get an injury every 3 months and you're out for 3 weeks. Versus if you're working out normally, you're still working out hard, moderate weight, but you never get an injury for that same duration of time. Who would actually get more muscle and actually more benefit? I think it would probably be pretty even, but the one person wouldn't have the injury and would still be able to continue working out. So that's how I look at it with injuries. Also, there are supplements. I don't suggest things anymore. I was actually just talking to a guy in the gym the other day about this BPC 157 and TB 500, which is what they use. It's a peptide that they inject into tissue where the area of injury is. So a lot of people use it for like their Achilles, the knee ligaments, pretty much any injuries. I had a friend in the military, he used it when he had shin splints, and it'll heal your body in half the time. Guarantee every single quarterback or any athlete that gets an injury takes it. But it's not, I don't want to say, like, you can order it, but it's like very not, I don't want to say illegal, like it's not a steroid or anything, but I guess it doesn't have tons and tons of research, but that's the only thing I can think of for injury, like healing purposes. Other than that, price, protect, rest, ice, compression, elevate, you know, just go through the proper motions. Time off, deload. time off for me, I'm older now. So like I said, I work out 3 to 4 days a week. So I take a couple days off to calm down the central nervous system, get back to baseline, and let my body recoup. If you're going, I still go hard to failure, sometimes to failure, not always. And I lift moderately heavy on certain days, and my body needs time to recoup. And so I have to give it the days to get back. Like, you don't want to just push it and keep tearing apart muscle. In the beginning, when you have newbie gains, you're just going to be growing and growing and growing and growing, right? And then once you plateau, you have to use another stimulus to get growth. So you have to change things up. My muscle is already matured. So for time off, it's exactly the same. I don't take deload weeks because I take so much time off during the week. Sometimes I don't work out for 3-4 days. There's no real, I'm very free with my working out. So that's how I look at that. All right, on to the red. Artificial versus natural. So I did artificial for 3 years. I was in decent shape, but after all the research I've done and tried so many different diets, artificial, just at the end of the day, it's artificial. It's not good for you. You can listen to Greg Doucette and all these guys that talk about, you don't get cancer, or I'm willing to take the risk, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's man-made. I would rather have things from the earth and feel good about eating it. Again, we're talking about feeling. I want to feel good. Does artificial sweetener, if I go eat 10 packets of stevia, am I going to feel good? No. Shit, all just bullshit. All just man-made. So I know, well, stevia, no, it's not man-made, but it's still processed. So I believe now at the age I'm at, all natural for sure. I'm going to do a whole video on that in the future. So we'll just leave that at what it is. Steroids, SARMs, fat burners. If you asked me 10 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, steroids. Fuck yeah. Everything. Trend bologna sandwiches every day. I would say, hell yeah. Love that shit. SARMs. I did that for a few years. I did that when I was in Colorado 2 years ago. So I stopped doing steroids in 2019. I did SARMs in 2020 and a little bit of 2021, I believe. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Like, just let it go. Like, for me now, because I'm seeing, like, I'm all about longevity. I want to live for a long time. I want to enjoy my life. I'm in great shape. Like, you don't need that stuff. All you need is consistency and time. That's really it. So that's going to be a whole nother huge series of videos going into all those things. Muscle maturity, like I said, I have the muscle maturity now, so I don't have to push myself as hard in the gym. I can maintain this year round without having to do any extra strenuous muscle growth. So muscle maturity, depends on where you're at, how much you've worked out in your life, depends on your age, a lot of different things like that. And once you get to that level, you can kind of change up your program, pull back, and you'll still get the same results you got when you were early on in life. Best training based on age experience. Again, same thing, totally depends. If you're 60 years old, I'm not going to say do dog crap training or like go to failure or do 5 days a week. But if you're 13, I'm also not going to say you got to go 6 days a week. You want to build into it. And the whole thing with fitness is you want to enjoy it. Like I said, this is a journey. It's not like an end all be all. There's not a means to an end. It's a journey. And it took me forever. It took me until 2019. So like 17 years of fitness to learn this, because I thought that when I was going to step on stage and be 5%, 6% body fat, shredded, look fucking amazing, that I would finally be happy. That's not the case at all. I promise you. It's not the case at all. You're not happy because when you have an external thing, something you want, and you don't have inner happiness and you're going for that, that's not going to give you inner happiness. It's a means to an end. Once you get it, you're on to the next thing. You're like, well, I've got it now. It's going to be the same thing like if you're trying to be a millionaire. You think that when you have $600,000 in your bank account versus $1 million, when you get that $1 million, you're going to be like, yeah, I fucking did it. Like, blah. You're not going to feel any different on the inside. I promise you, you have to enjoy every moment, every present moment now, because this is all we have in life. It's right now, me making this video right here, not in a half hour when I'm going to the gym, not later on when I'm going to work. All I have right now is this video, doing this, giving this information to you guys, not anything else. So in your journey, when you're working out, you are in that moment. You're working out in that day, for that day, and nothing else. Not for in fucking a month or 6 months. And that's what's really tough, because people put these outcomes on things like, I want to lose this in this amount of time. What you have to say is, I am fitness. I am being what I want. I love doing this. It's who I am. And there's no outcome. I'm just going to keep going. And when you look at it that way, it's going to bring you inner happiness. You're going to feel great about yourself. There's going to not be nearly as much stress in your life. And it's just going to be this amazing journey you're going to go on. And that's what it's all about, is the journey. It's not about getting to the end of the road. If you have $100 million when you're ready to die, okay, what did that do for you in your life? Did you enjoy that $100 million, or were you so set on making that money that you didn't enjoy your life? Were you so set on getting shredded and getting in the best shape of your life that you didn't enjoy your life? That's the key. You have to enjoy your life. You have to live with love and just enjoy and embrace, because we're specks of dust. We're here for 1 minute and then we're gone the next. Whew, it's deep. Days per week volume. For me, again, like I said, 3 or 4 days a week. Back when I was training for my show, I did it all wrong. I did 6 days a week and I went hard, heavy, tons of volume, was there for 2.5 hours. And guess what? In that year, I barely grew. Barely anything changed. And I was taking tons of steroids, tons of fat burners, all kinds of shit. Because I was doing way, way too much. When you're taxing your body that much, and I don't sleep. I just started sleeping recently. I haven't slept really good in like 10 years, since when I was an opiate addict. So when you don't sleep and you're taking steroids to grow your muscles, well, you're not recovering because you're not sleeping. Same thing now, if you're working out 6 days a week and you don't sleep, well, maybe you should pull back to 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and work on getting better sleep. And that's going to give you 10 times better results. So the volume, really depends on your lifestyle. Do you sleep enough? What kind of factors do you have in your life? Are you drinking alcohol? There's so much that goes into that. So when you're looking at the volume, it's again based on your lifestyle, and what you do is going to determine how you pick the volume. But if you're starting out, again, start moderate, then start building it up. Because if you just start balls to the wall, you're going to have nowhere to grow. Like if I just was starting my fitness journey today and I'm like, I'm going to work out 7 days a week and I'm just going to go until absolute failure. Well, where you have no gauge of anything, because you don't know what you can do or what you're capable of. So you need to get a baseline established before you start pushing. Cialis, Viagra, the drug for male enhancement. I took this for probably 2 years. I stopped taking it in December of this year. Or last year. I took it for blood pressure, also for awesome erections, because that was pretty awesome, Can't lie. Like I said, this channel is about authentically yourself. But I did take it for a few years, and I took it because I took a lot of steroids and I was worried about my heart health, and Cialis and Viagra thin the blood. That's why you get an erection, because the blood is able to get down into your penis quicker, aka Cialis, Viagra. So I took this to mitigate, to help my heart, because I was worried I hurt it. I do not suggest taking Cialis. They give it to older people. It was created to thin blood. So it's not for erections. It's just a side effect. So I don't suggest people take Cialis. I don't think it's necessary. Supplements, if you asked me this 10 years ago, I'd say yes, creatine, BCAAs, CLA, electrolytes, all the normal stuff, right? Now, I don't take anything. I don't even use protein powder. Why? Because I've learned over the years that it's not necessary. It's like yeah, maybe it'll make you 1% better after the end of the year. But again, 99% of it's all man-made. And I don't think it's just more stress. Like, oh, I got to take this protein powder after my gym. I got to take my BCAAs every day. You're just adding like all these different things into your fitness journey that are not necessary. Again, because you're probably focused on the outcome. I want this result. I want to get there. So I need to take all this stuff. It's like, no, you don't need to take all that stuff. You have to just enjoy the moment. Let's just enjoy the journey. That's it. And it will come. Let the universe bring it all to you. Stop forcing it. Stop trying. Like, yes, you need to take action to a certain extent, but then you have to let go. If you're in a river and you're trying to hike upstream, you're going to get rid of your energy 10 times faster as if you just lay down and float down the river. That's a Taoism belief. So, don't go against the grain. Go with it. So it's the same thing with your fitness journey. Don't try and force anything. Just go with the flow. Stop trying to look at an outcome. I need to be 20 pounds of muscle and 10 pounds less of fat. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. So that's the end of episode 1. That was a lot of stuff. How long is this video? Like whole 30 minutes? I don't even know if I'm going to be able to upload this whole thing. So I hope that was insightful for a lot of people. I just, again, like I said, I don't think about any of this stuff. I wrote this down right before the video, and I was just like, I'm going to just talk about it, be authentically myself, speak from integrity and speak from my heart. And that's all my experiences that I felt my whole life going through it, and what I can say will help at least someone out there. So that's what it's about. And I'm super grateful for everyone. And please, if you got some knowledge out of this, please hit that like button. If you like more videos like this, subscribe, comment below. Tell me what you want to see next, what really stuck out to you. If you like more of the mind transformation videos, or if you want more like body, if you want me to go more in depth with, like, you want like steroid videos, you want sweetener videos, you want more knowledge based, comment below, let me know. And as always, enjoy your week, guys. Let's crush it. It's Monday, so just love life, enjoy your day, and talk soon. Later.